Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Ben with Warhammer Fantasy Battles. Uh, it has been a while since I put out a video, um, so a little bit of background. I've been extremely busy trying to get ready for, well, I was getting ready for Memorial Mayhem, um, and when I went there, I took some pictures, but uh, I feel like the battle reports wouldn't have been full enough because I was trying to get through the games and concentrate. So my pictures were terrible to say the least. So anyways, I'll do a little recap at the end of this battle report. So what I'm doing right now is I'm playing Dread Elves. I know. I'm sorry. Uh, I played Dread Elves at a one-day tournament in at Huzzah Hobbies, and I took this exact same list and I took second place. So, uh, granted, I went against no lists that had shooting whatsoever. They had no shooting at all. Um, but recently I've two played a game against on UB2. I played against Nick Reap, and he was doing the MSU UD list, and of course UB dice are absolutely terrible. Um, but somehow I feel like they're still true to life because I've had dice exactly like that. Um, but I ended up winning that one by I think 14-6. And then my very next game on UB2, I got a 20-0 against Warriors of the Dark Gods. But then again, I do run Alchemy and I have a lot of AP6 shooting. Um, so I pretty much, in the first turn, he had first turn, I went second, and I took out his general, his BSB, and 6 of his Chaos Knights. All he had left was a Chaos Knight and his Shaman in that one character bus. And then my other shooting took out basically the rest of his army until my executioners could get in. So, anyways, let's start this game off. Played against Joe Finlayson. He's an awesome player, awesome guy. We played at Huzzah Hobbies just a couple days ago on whatever day, the 7th or something like that. So this is what our table looks like. Got a forest, a wall, some looks like some ruins or something, a hill, a field, and some other stuff. Another hill and another forest. So what I've got on my side: Reaper Bolt Thrower, 11 uh, Repeater Auxiliaries with Shield Musician, another Bolt Thrower, 5 Dark Raiders with shields and crossbows. Then I've got another set of 12 Repeater Crossbows with shields and musician. In the center, I've got my 28 Executioners, full command, with my Cult Priest BSB, who has a Lucky Shield, the Obsidian Rock, and the Divine Icon. Behind that, I've got 5 Harpies. Next to that, I've got another 11 Repeater Auxiliaries with my General, who has the Book of Arcane Power, 4 spells. His name is Zoidberg, because he looks like a squid. Or a lobster, basically. He's got lobster claws and little tentacles coming out of his face, just like Zoidberg does. So Zoidberg's got the Book of Arcane Power, Ring of Fire, and I think that's it, with 4 spells in Alchemy. And he's in with Repeater Auxiliaries with Shields Musician. Then I got another thing of Dark Raiders, my Hydra, and then another Bolt Thrower behind that tree. For him, he's got, I think there's 10 or 12 Skinks with blowpipes. He's got 2 Cowboys. It's the Razorbacks, the 2 Razorbacks. It has 1 Cowboy attached to it. He's got a big block of Skinks with some Carnosaurs in it, or whatever they're called, the Caimans. And then he's got a Altar of the Ancients or something like that. I can't remember the names for all these things. He's got another character on a Taurosaur, another character riding a Raptor, two more Razorbacks, um, two units, I think, of 10 Saurus Warriors, and another unit of maybe 10 or 12 of the Skinks. And I dropped everything first, so I got first turn. I think, depending on what kind of army I'm going against, I have to think about my strategy and how I'm going to place my guys down. So sometimes I'd rather go second so that everything gets into my shooting and magic range, so that I can just kind of wipe out whatever comes near me that I don't want to fight. And then I think going second would probably be the best for me, because then I can actually shoot. And if I deploy just out of range, they're -1 to hit me with, whatever shooting they have, unless, of course, they are the stupid ogre guys with the little cannons. So anyways, first turn. These are vanguards. I didn't vanguard at all. When I probably should have, just to prevent him from moving up a little bit more. So anyways, I move my Dark Raiders over a little bit. I want to kill these little skink dudes before they get to my bolt thrower. I don't really have great shots with my bolt throwers. Really, I'm just trying to take out the characters, or maybe the engine of the. I think it's the engine of the ancients, because he gives a 5-up ward save to everybody within 6 inches. So, focus my shooting on those guys over there, and then I try to focus a little bit of shooting on the other guys on the other side, because I don't want them taking out my Hydra with all their shots. Moving into magic phase, nothing else moved except for my general's bunker, just kind of faced to face those other skinks, when I probably should have turned them to face the other skinks on the right-hand side. So I get Word of Iron here, +2 armor save, because he does have shooting, and I guess this is kind of a good thing for going first. Get my +2 armor save, so I'm a 3-up armor against ballistic skill shooting, and then magic. He had pyromancy, so fuck me basically. Sorry, shooting wasn't terribly effective, but I did manage to take out. Oh, maybe it was. I took out 6 of these guys. They passed all their cold-blooded checks. I think it's like a leadership 5 or 6. And then I only took out 2 of these guys. They also passed their leadership check. And I think it goes on to his turn 1. So check this out. This guy on the Raptor in the field. I'm going to give you a little spoiler. He is not going to pass a single stupidity check for the entire game. This is the only time he passed stupidity to move into the field. So, he moves everybody up pretty aggressively. So that little square is secure target, so we're just trying to take the objective there. He moves them up relatively far. I'm not sure that he remembered that I had the Banner of Speed, but I have movement 6 executioners. So anyways, moves everybody up like so. The Saurus Warriors just kind of sit there. He uses a majority of his shooting to take out my Dark Riders. And I think... Oh no, so his shooting took out 2 Dark Riders, and then he managed to get off Scorching Salvo. And he killed 2 more here. He killed 3 guys here. Killed 1 dude there. Killed 1 Executioner. 3 Repeaters. Put 2 wounds there. And took out another one there. So he did quite a bit with his D6 salvo. That's right. Um, Sorry. Magic, the Scorching Salvo, took out 4 of the Dark Riders. I passed my panic. Then in the shooting phase, he killed it with his skinks. Those guys did 2 wounds here, and it moves on my turn too. I go into that Engine of the Gods. I want to destroy that, and I used my reroll charge ranges on him. This was when I thought that he was immune to psychology. Apparently he is not. So he decides to flee, and I redirect into his Razorbacks, who cannot flee. They have to hold and use stand and shoot as their only reaction. So he does stand and shoot, kills 2 guys. I have a 3-up armor save, goes to a 5-up armor save. He rolled shit for his 4d6. So anyways, I make it in and set up like so because I want to run into that Taurosaur guy and destroy it. Fly my Harpies up just so he can't get a flank on me. This is before I did the arc. Realistically, I didn't really have to put the Harpies there. The Hydra is about 6 inches away from his character. I thought about using the breath weapon, but then I was like, I have to reroll my wounds, but he's got a 1-up, 4-up, so it's probably not going to do anything. Everybody else just kind of moves around. I move my hero, or my lord, my general over here, into this unit. So he was in the unit with the gray model, and he moved over here because I didn't want him getting killed from this character that you see. So anyways, moves there. These guys move up a little more to try and take the rest of those guys out, just so they don't plink off my... because those guys alone could take out my Reaper Bolt Thrower and just kind of maneuver around me. I get Word of Iron off again, so I have 3-up armor save. Make this guy flammable, and then consequently nothing else happens in magic because I think I failed. Over here, shoot again, kill 1 guy. Over here, this goes into combat. I completely wipe out the Razorbacks and overrun into his Taurosaur. So now, goes on to his turn 2. A lot of things happened. His character, I think, attempted to charge my crossbow unit, I think. But I know his skinks charged my Harpies. My Harpies fled because he wasn't in the arc, the flank arc of my unit. So I didn't really have to worry about that. So I fled with the Harpies, and I rolled a whopping 5 to run away. And he caught my ass and then reformed. These guys charged the flank of my Executioners, but failed. I think he needed like a 10. Then over here, he just kind of moves these guys up to blow the fuck up out of blow my fucking Hydra up. And he fails the stupidity check and moves 1 inch forward. This guy fails to rally and comes within 2 inches of the board edge. He does Pyroclastic Flow, does 3 wounds. They shoot, do another wound, and then those Razorbacks shoot and kill the rest of it. My Hydra is not long for this world. So, in combat, he kills 4 guys. I do, I think he has 5 or 6 wounds total. He has 1 wound left. He sticks on a stubborn check. So, it kind of sucks. And then it moves on to, thankfully, moves on to my turn 3. Now, if this would have happened in his turn, he would have got the drop on me. So anyways, I move these guys up to try and block his whatchamacallits, his Saurus Warriors. running through the wall to get there, so I take 2 DTs. Do Quicksilver Lash on this guy and get through 2 wounds on him. I think I rolled a 2, or maybe it was. I think I rolled a 4 for my Quicksilver Lash, and I rolled 2 1s. Now, mind you, he has a 1-up armor save. I'm wounding him on a 2, and I failed 2 of them. So, anyways, this guy is the fucking master. I need like a 5 or a 6 to hit his hero, because he's got its range and I think it's hard cover because he's behind my unit. I need a 6 to hit him. I got it. 3 to wound. I got it. He fails his 5-up ward save and he dies. Fantastic. His skink unit passed their panic check, but he is now demolished. Just so you guys know, that little gray template there is immolation. So moving to, I think, more shooting. I shot at his skinks and killed like maybe 3. I think with 1 unit of crossbows, I shot at his character, which is kind of stupid. I should have just, put everything into his skinks to hopefully deny them steadfast when I charge into him after I killed this guy, and hopefully dispel the immolation. Right now, immolation is keeping me from being charged by his unit, because if he charges me, he's taking a 4x4 of strength 4, and he's toughness 2. So then it moves on to turn 3. He charges here. His charge into the rear of my executioners is a 12, so I happily flee with my Dark Raiders, and I get away. This guy fails stupidity again. Moves very slowly. They fail their charge. This guy rallies. I was hoping he'd fail and just run off the table. The skinks move up to get next to my bolt thrower, and then he moves his Caudal Lord out just a little bit. Let's see. He moves everybody up just a tad. Magic. Jesus Christ. So, I wasn't thinking about this when he said he was going to cast Enveloping Embers. But I thought I had a 3-up armor save. I thought I did. I forgot that I did not cast Word of Iron on my unit. I think I only had 3 dice that magic phase. So I was saying to myself, oh yeah, I'll have a 3-up, 5-up, whatever. So I let it go. He kills 7 guys, whatever. I've got 14 left, which perfectly fine. And then he does something else. He does like 2 more spells on my unit that I cannot stop. And this is after like a 2d6 fireball or something like that. And then he does another whatever and wipes out the whole unit. I go from 21 executioners to 0 executioners. Oh well. Not too big of a deal that it's a huge point swing. Huge. But anyways, I'm not super worried about it because the BSB can really do a lot of damage on his own. Because on the charge, and since he's not charging me, I now can charge him freely without immolation hurting me. So I get 4 attacks on the charge with my guy, my BSB. I give myself Lethal Strike, so I can reroll my wounds. I reroll hits. I'm hitting him on like, I think he has shields or something like that, so he's got parry, so I hit him on 4s with the reroll. And then I'm wounding him on 2s with the reroll. My 3 guys on the thing gets 6 attacks, and then my avatar is 5. So I'm pushing out a lot of fucking attacks. All of them get lethal strike. So anyways. Oh, he shoots my bolt thrower and kills it. Kills this bolt thrower. This is where things went south. My turn 4, I charge into this unit. Make it in, obviously. No other charges. Just kind of move around a little bit, or don't move, and try to shoot it as much as I possibly can. After combat, I kill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He remains steadfast and sticks. Moves on his turn 4. He fails stupidity yet again with this guy and only moves forward 2 inches. He charges again. I flee again. My Dark Raiders, and they flee like 11 inches. They wanted to get the fuck out of there. Everybody passes their panic checks. He moves up to the flank of these guys just to kill them off. Because they are a scoring unit, and he has no scoring units over there right now. Besides that, block of skinks and caiman that he's got in front of me. So shooting does that, goes into combat, and holy fuck. He challenges with his skink priest. I accept, obviously. I hit his skink priest on 3s. I hit with all 3 attacks with my executioner. I do all 3 wounds. I go with my other guys. I'm hitting them on, I think, 2s, and I win them on 4s. I did 3 wounds with my executioner. I did, I think, 2 wounds with my disciples, and then I did another 3 wounds with my avatar. So I did a total of 8 wounds. Only 7 of them count. So I have 7, 8 because of BSB, but he has steadfast. He fails a steadfast check. His Caudal Lord is too far away to get a reroll. So he runs. I chase him down, take out the entire unit, and run into his cowboy over there. Now, I'm hoping with this I don't feel too worried about it because, number one, I've got lethal strike, I've got high strength with my BSB, and the whole thing gets lethal strike, and I also get I have divine attacks, so I'm not super concerned about this. He is wielding a great weapon too, so I should be hitting him on I think his weapon skill 6, so I'm hitting him on 3s with a reroll, and then I should be able to and realistically I think I should have killed him because my Executioner's Blade does multi-wound 2 to characters. So yeah, I completely forgot about that. So I forgot that I do multi-wound 2. So that Taurosaur guy should have been dead in the first round. Oh man, I gotta remember these rules. Holy shit. So anyways, that Taurosaur, we had a character on it, so I should have done multi-wound 2. I did 4 wounds to him with all of my guys, and that should have just killed. That's 8 wounds. He should have died. I need to remember that next time. So anyways, this guy should have been dead because I did 2 wounds to him with my Executioner, which means I did 4 wounds to him. He should have been dead. Moving on. So into my turn 5. I don't think I did much. I think I shot. Yeah, that's it. So I didn't move anywhere. I just shot at his. I should not have shot at his engine. I think I shot his engine of ancients. I should have just shot it just as his scoring units, at least the one closest to me. If I would have shot his Saurus warriors, I would have pumped out. Let's see, 6 here, and then I've got all these crossbowmen. I think there's 9 in each one, so 36 shots. I think I'm hitting on 5s, winning on 5s. So maybe wound maybe 3 or 4. Wound 3 or 4 guys, maybe. And then the bolt thrower hitting on threes should do another like maybe two wounds, maybe three if I'm lucky. So that would make him a lot more combat ineffective. And if he decided to charge me or something like that, or whatever to get that objective, I could have sat on that objective. And yeah, there's a lot of things that I could have done with this that would have swung things heavily in my way if I would remembered the rules correctly with my army. So that's all I did for my stuff. So then it goes into his turn's 5. Man, gotta remember this shit. So he just kind of moves people around. He does kill my BSB because I forgot about the multi-wound 2 with the Executioner Blade. If it would have done that, if I would have killed him, I probably would have turned to face his engine. I would have, turn 6, charge his engine, hit that, overrun into his Saurus Warrior block, move my. This is only if I would have shot his Saurus Warriors. He'd have, I don't know. Let's say worst case, he'd have like 7 or 8 guys left. Put both units, march both units towards the objectives, and just kind of hope that he does not kill off both units. Charge. Sorry. Charge the one unit into his Saurus Warriors. That I would think that, what is that, 10 crossbowmen could probably take out a couple Saurus Warriors and maybe win, like before they could swing, maybe win combat, just on combat res alone. If I was, I mean, maybe I'm thinking too highly, but pretty sure I'm hitting on 2s, wounding on 5s, so I don't know, another like 2 guys killed off, and then he swings and he kills however many. But anyways, oh man, these rules, I gotta remember these. This would have been a different game if I would remember those rules, because my BSB would have gone and jacked up that engine, and then more than likely killed off all those Saurus Warriors back there, and that would have won me the game. Because he'd have just his Caudal Lord left, the Razorbacks, and his Skinks. He has no scoring units, so I would just win the game on objectives alone. So yeah. Anyways, he comes up, shoots the crap out of my dudes, does like magic, and kills my general's unit, and then it moves on to killing that. And I think it was in... Yeah, so this is basically where the game is pretty much over. I move my repeater crossbows up as far away from his... Well, I don't move them far away, but... move him up here, put the Dark Riders in there. He charges with his engine to cause a terror check. I pass. He fails his charge, and I think that was it. I think that's completely it. And he moves his other guys up into the scoring area, so it's a pretty big win. Now, if I would have remembered that I got multi-wounds too, that cowboy right there would not be alive. I would have charged, I think, let's see. My turn 6, that guy would have been dead. Let's go back. So, this was his turn 5. Or no, it was my turn 5 right there. That over... Yeah, so then it was my turn 5 there. So I do that. In his turn, I would have killed his character. Then I would have charged in my turn 6. Charged in my turn 6 into his Taurosaur. Killed it in my combat phase because he's only got 2 wounds left. And then overran into this. And I could have killed off his Saurus. Yeah. So anyways, it was a big win for him. I did get some points. I just didn't get enough for it to matter. Maybe like a 19-1. So a lot of lessons learned here. For instance, remember your fucking rules of your army so that you don't lose. So anyways, that was the game. I'm going to be putting out more like it. Doing Dread Elves from now on until 2.0 comes out. And basically, I'm playing Dread Elves until the new Orcs and Goblins book comes out. If any of you guys look at my posts on the forums, I'm not happy with the Orcs and Goblins. I guess maybe it's just my play style. I just don't do well with them. So, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of crappy because we don't get any access to rerolls. We don't get any access to anything that helps us with other people's initiative. We don't get, like, we swing last. We have low cap numbers on units that are virtually useless after the first round of high initiative combat from any elite unit. So, not very happy with Orcs and Goblins right now. So anyways, Memorial Mayhem recap. My first game I had against Brandon Phelps. He had no magic. He had, I think, a Crown of Scorn. That was it. He didn't have the Aether Icon or anything. I ended up getting a 10-10 against him because he played his ogres like elves, where he would flee and then rally. Because my artillery was pretty successful in the first game. Shot the crap out of him, took a bunch of things out, and it just the artillery just did well. So I got a 10-10. My second game, I think I played Dread Elves. I think I played Zeke Weber, and oh man, I had no ballistic skill shooting besides my 2 units of 20 cave goblins, and I had 3 artillery weapons. I had my 2 doom divers or my 2 git launchers and my splatterer. And 2 of them misfired on the first turn. A git launcher and a splatterer. And the other one missed. And I had nothing else I could do. So, in his first turn, he pretty much moved everybody up because, and this is on diagonal deployment, so he's a lot faster than I am. He hits faster than I am. And I think he gets hatred with everybody, except for his Tower Guard. He had Tower Guard and Corsairs with I think like 10 Cold One Knights and a unit of 5 Cold One Knights, and then he had his BSB on an altar, and he had like 2 units of Harpies, or he had a ton of shit in his army. It honestly looked like a 5,000 point army, but it was 4,000. Because he had 2 hordes, 2 bricks of 30. Or he had 28 Corsairs and 29 Tower Guard. So, yeah, my artillery didn't do shit. At that point, I had absolutely nothing I could do. I was running shamanism. I couldn't kill him with anything. I couldn't shoot at him with anything that was effective, so I just threw chariots at him, at his tower guard, and threw my black orcs into him. Realistically, and I tried throwing my feral orcs into his corsairs. Um, Stupid decision, yes, because he's hitting me on twos, booting me on fours, rerolling ones and twos. He has his general with the Headsman's Axe and all that other stuff, the Crimson Mail and Divine Icon. Uh, Luckily for me, I had the Sprout of Rebirth, but it didn't matter because I got obliterated. So, I rammed. Realistically, I probably should have just rammed all of my chariots into his tower guard just to kill as many as I possibly could and just let him die because they bleed combat res. Because they don't get any saves against them. So if I would have just rammed 2 chariots and toss out impact hits, kill maybe like 8 or 9 of them, and then just pretty much slam as much as I can into his unit to try and dwindle him down. Because I can handle his Corsairs with my Iron Orcs. Because he's only strength 3. He's hitting me on 3s, but he's winning me on 5s. And if I went shields, I'd have a 3-up armor save, and I could just, sit there and grind all day. I could even increase my toughness to 5, and he'd have to hit me on 6s. But I was an idiot, and I charged my Iron Orcs in there with my 2 chariots, like a dumbass, and he killed the chariots, beat me in combat, because Iron Orcs are not. Nothing was working, basically. But then again, I did go into Tower Guard, so got a 0 on that one. My second game, I got 1 point because I went against Joel Flint's peasant army, and he had 2 characters, and they wiped out my entire army, except for my Iron Orcs, with my general in it. He took out all of my War Machines, my Feral Orcs, and all of my Cave Goblins, with 2, let me say this again, 2 fucking characters. They both had like 1-up rerollable armor saves, and I have absolutely nothing to deal with those armor saves. And he, my War Machines did shit. My 2 Git launchers misfired 1 in the first round. He hit his 2 characters initially, but my 2 Git launchers misfired and couldn't shoot for the rest of the game. And then my splatter misfired and couldn't shoot for the rest of the game. So they were useless, and I had absolutely nothing to deal with his high armor saves. So he got he got 19 points. I got 1. My 4th game, I got another 0 because I played against Phil Carl's Sylvan Elves. He made 3 fairly long charges into my Feral Orcs, and wiped out that unit. Panicked a bunch of guys around him, and then he was in my backfield with 2 Tree Mothers and Dryads, and I had nothing else to do with that. So he wiped out my entire army. So he got 20 points. And then my very last game against Jerry Parsley, I got 20 points because his dice were like, no, fuck you. He has the Dragon Lance, one of his characters. He charged that motherfucker in, flaming attacks against my general, who has a regen save and a 2-up armor with the shield. If I don't take the shield, then I have a 3-up armor. He's coming in with like strength 7, strength 8, something crazy. And he rolls, does 3 hits, and his lance turns into fucking feather dust. And he rolls 3 1s. Doesn't do shit. I take my strength 8 sword and knock his ass to the ground. And then I killed the rest of his peg knights, and it was just an absolute disaster. I took my national wrecking teams into him because he didn't have anything to sacrifice to him. It was just a disaster. So I had a draw, 3 major losses, and a big win. And the only reason I had the big win was because there was a lot of mistakes were made on his end, and his artillery misfired. It didn't do shit, and his dice were absolutely trash. His dice were trash. I think I'm going to attribute most of it to his dice. I'd say 90% of it was dice, and 10% was his target allocation was not, put there, because nothing was threatening him except for my national wrecking teams for the first 2 rounds, for the first two turns. So yeah, that was pretty much it. That was more mayhem. So, anyways, you can expect to see more Dread Elf battle reports coming up for the foreseeable future until Orcs and Goblins gets a book rework. I will be painting. Probably going to do a painting episode maybe next week or something. I don't really know what my time frame's going to be, but I'm going to try and get James, and I'm going to get Tremendous's lazy ass get him to do the square table because he's being lazy. Yes, Lord Tremendous, I'm talking to you. You are being lazy. I've not had a single square table to watch on the way to work. So we need to fix that. I will be contacting you soon. That's all I got for you guys. So I will see you next time whenever I get another game in. Peace.